it is important to watch some of the big players. Like recently, right now, Grayscale, for example, their lockup period for a lot of investors in their fund is expiring. And imagine if you bought last year in June, and now you have finally access to your money after 1 year. You made still over 200%. And a lot for those bigger players, they just take now a few chips from the table. And I'm not saying they're going all in or all out, but I mean, they are certainly taking profits. And this lockup period for a lot of investors, like they had a really crazy ramp up in June till the end of July. And I think we will probably see a little bit more price action at that point because more and more coins come available and more people want to take profit.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the CryptoWeekly podcast, the show where we interview the top influencers and leaders in the crypto space. I'm here today joined with Eric Kasanowski, the co-founder and chief investment officer for Decentral Capital. Welcome to the show.
Awesome. Always a pleasure talking to you, Mike. Looking forward.
Always. Yeah, so Eric and I had a show last month kind of chatting about Decentral Capital. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend go checking that out. Today's show will be more of a market update on, the state of the nation, where we are with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and kind of what we have in store for the remainder of the year. So Eric, if you don't mind, the first question I have is, we've had this massive dump in price since the beginning of June. We've had a nice little rebound over the past few days. We're recording this on June 24th. Do you suspect that, we've hit the bottom and we're now starting to consolidate and move, higher?
It's a good question, Mike. It's always everyone wants to know if the bottom is in, basically, and we can now buy. I would just say how I think every one of us could not time the top of the current cycle or of the current year. I think it is almost impossible to time the absolute bottom. I still feel very confident that the 30,000 range is a really, really strong support. And even over the next, let's say 6 to 2 months, I expect still a range bounding and a further consolidation of Bitcoin between 30 and 40,000. I would say before we see another price action, right now the market is really, I would say, not sure what is going on. There's a lot of different informations out there. China mining, what is going on with the price? A lot of liquidations happening. Whales are selling. Who is selling? There's just a little bit of a misconception out there. But overall, I think we are pretty close. I would say. Yeah. I feel pretty strongly.
I think I share your opinion that this $30,000 range is a great base level for us. And I think, what got us down to that range is all the liquidations, as you talked about, so much over leverage in the market. And now we've started to weed out a lot of that over leverage. And we found this base of true hodlers, people that are, holding for the long term. And I think, that's a good solid ground to build on. And so I think we've, along the same lines, we've hit that bottom, and now we're starting to gather momentum. It's, in my opinion, I don't think it's going to be a V-shaped recovery. I think we'll probably chop sideways for some time. But that being said, it never needs to be an all out or an all in, right? And so maybe talk a little bit about trading strategies or accumulation strategies that you would use at Decentral Capital, as opposed to going all in or all out at one time.
No, it's a very good point. So I would say for the normal investor, I would say dollar cost average has just still to that day proven to be the most profitable one, and even just holding on to their assets than doing excessive trading. That all being said, like, you can always see certain cycles. And what we are seeing right now is there is a good shift going back to large cap coins. I think especially Bitcoin has outperformed a lot of them right now. Like we have Bitcoin, we have large caps, we have mid caps, and we have small caps. And Bitcoin is right now in this state of uncertainty the winner, because this is more or less the model. Everybody goes home to it. It is an asset that people still understand, that people trust. And it is also the asset that is getting spoken on the most, with the latest news of getting legal tender in El Salvador. as well as also the FUD news, what we spoke about, the mining. But that being said, of trading, like I think it is really important to look a lot of on-chain analysis, what is going on, who is buying, who is selling. Because at the end of the day, like if you look at a graph, like just the price curve alone, I would say it is good to find maybe some psychological barriers, you know, that is important to watch for the people, you know. But at the end of the day, if someone would make an announcement right now, let's say Apple would go in or they bought something, it just would destroy the entire graph, and it goes either up if there's great news or it goes down if there's bad news. So some of them can get caught by on-chain analysis and see if money moving in advance for a potential short or a potential long. And I would say this is something where we have a little bit of the edge of really, really looking at those data and making an educated decision and try to trade for our clients.
Yeah, and I think that's one massive, fundamental advantage that we have in the crypto space is that all of this information, this on-chain information, is publicly accessible, is readily available to anybody that wants to dig deep, that wants to dig into it. And I know, this is your full-time job along, with mine. And so we have almost this alpha on traditional markets that we can see what's happening if we just look, right? And so let's talk a little bit about on-chain data. I know one of the big indicators of either bullish price action or bearish price action is coins on exchange. And I'm not sure if this is something that that you cover very often, but how do you look at exchange volume, coins moving on and off exchanges, and how does that help you with your buy and sell thesis?
I mean, you can certainly say that the inflows and the outflows is something to need to watch too. Like there is always an incentive behind it, and I think a lot of people who are already in the space are familiar with it. If there is a lot of money going into exchanges, there is most likely the trend that someone wants to take profit. And same vice versa, basically a lot of people taking it off, putting it into a cold storage. This is something, where usually there's a good accumulation phase and people just want to hold on to that asset, and price is most likely to go up because it's, less coins are available on the market. But that all being said, I think it is some of the big players. Like recently right now, Grayscale, for example, their lockup period for a lot of investors in their fund is expiring. And imagine if you bought last year in June and now you have finally access to your money after 1 year, you made still over 200%. And a lot for those bigger players, they just take now a few chips from the table. And I'm not saying they're going all in or all out, but I mean, they are certainly taking profits. And this lockup period for a lot of investors, like they had a really crazy ramp up in June till the end of July. And I think we will probably see a little bit more price action at that point because more and more coins come available and more people want to take profit. And yeah, this is just how I see it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So understanding what these lockup periods are, when those tokens are becoming liquid, and what might happen as a result of that, I think is really valuable information. The other thing I tend to look at often is the hash rate. And I know there's been a lot of news about China cracking down on mining, and a lot of the hash rates starting to move out of China and into the rest of the world, predominantly in the US. How do you suspect that, that drop in hash rate will affect price, but also the redistribution of hash power across around the world?
I think there's just multiple topics to look at. I would say, at one point, I think it's quite sad, that I think China is cracking down so hard on mining, especially for the mining companies who are actually working with renewable energies, especially hydro. I think Bitcoin is there for everyone, and it should not be held by one single country entity. Like this is the beauty of Bitcoin, it's decentralized. But that being said, China made a call and equipment is getting moved. So at the end of the day, I see a good chance that the US or maybe some other countries are winning because, a lot of miners did ship their equipment to North America. And, North America is really on it to create clean Bitcoin, create more hash power in their country. And I think they will benefit from it. In regards to the hash rate, to be honest with you, I don't really look at it that much. Simply speaking, because I say that the price is dictating the hash power and usually not the other way around. I think there is sometimes a little bit misconception out there. I know that certainly the hash rate has an impact because so many miners went offline, and there is this transition period, and it has a little bit of an impact. But I would say it's nothing really big to worry about at this point in time. I would more or less say there's way other factors way more important for the price action of Bitcoin rather than just moving few computers right now.
Yeah. I think that's a fair point. I also think in some ways it could be, a positive view for Bitcoin that, at one point, 65% of the hash power was located in China, and to see that, some of that hash power start to be redistributed, it's hopeful because it makes Bitcoin far more decentralized, and it takes one of the talking points off the table for the bears that say, well, this is just a China currency and they can control it. And so when we move their hash power down below 50%, it really solidifies the decentralized nature of Bitcoin, and hopefully that becomes a strong bullish factor in the future. I'd like to ask just about this kind of next stage of the run. I think a lot of people within the crypto community are dead set on this being just a mid-cycle correction, not necessarily a bear market. If we do take a next leg up, how do you see that playing out for Bitcoin versus Ethereum versus maybe some of the smaller cap altcoins? Maybe just walk me through like where you think that liquidity will flow first, and then where you think it might go kind of near the end of the cycle.
Yeah, I mean, how we see the current situation is that if Bitcoin keeps consolidating, through the, let's say, for the next 2 months, maybe even 3 months, right? I mean, who knows how long it will take, but that people get impatient, I think people getting frustrated, and I can see that even also a lot of money from small caps maybe go into Bitcoin right now. And we see already an increase in the overall Bitcoin holdings. I think it just went up from 40% to 46% over the last month or something like this. How it will play out, I would say the Bitcoin market will only go up if Bitcoin goes up. That being said, if you really find the trigger, a little bit later down the summer, maybe an approval of an ETF, maybe more countries get into Bitcoin, whatever the news is that really gives it another spark and kicks that entire thing into gears again, Bitcoin will be most likely the first. But that being said, for exceptional gains, like small caps and medium caps will follow quickly. So I would always say, stay in Bitcoin. It is good. It is safe. Like it will not go to zero. No one will make a rug pull on you. But for all the traders out there, or you want to have a little bit of excitement, I mean, take just 5% or maybe 10% of your entire crypto portfolio and explore a little bit with it. Like if the market goes up, there is no need to explore some altcoins, maybe some Ethereum, maybe people go in Polkadot, or even they go into super small caps where they did their research on and say, hey, let's see how it goes. I mean, the market cap for those is so small, if they just double, like you make tremendous gains. But that being said, it also has shown it is on your way back. And if you get not out in time and you keep holding on just because you think you're smarter than everyone else, then you will just losing and potentially need to wait or go even to zero. So yeah. I say it with caution. Please be careful.
No, I love what you said there about people getting impatient. And I think it's so funny because in crypto, time moves so fast, right? And everybody wants their incredible gains right away. I heard a friend of mine that runs Sat Street coin it a week year, because in crypto, every week seems like a year. And I think, that's very true when people are looking at how fast can I get to a 5x or a 10x of their money. And when Bitcoin starts to chop sideways, what I kind of think about it as shifting liquidity, and, people get tired of Bitcoin chopping sideways, so they start to go a little bit farther out on the risk curve. And I think, at the end of the bull cycle, we'll see the dog coins start to explode again and all these other meme coins, just like what the retail phase is. But first and foremost, the most important thing is hold some Bitcoin. Make sure you're storing your wealth in something that's tried, true, and proven. And I think you do a very good job of educating people about that at Decentral Capital, and making sure that your products are not too far out on the risk curve, are actually just accumulating value. So why don't we chat a little bit about Decentral Capital? I know, so first of all, why don't you maybe give a brief description of Decentral Capital and what you guys do?
Oh, awesome. So what we do is basically we buy, hold, and trade cryptocurrencies on behalf of others. And I mean, we are really specialized on Bitcoin and Ethereum, because right now this is something that we feel very strongly will stay around for a long of time. And we see it not as a speculation object, we see it as an investment object. And as we spoke before, you can probably make some more higher gains in a small coin or in a medium cap coin, what is doable. But I see it rather as a speculation, and it should get explored with a small percentage of a portfolio if it's really in there. But considering that a lot of people who are new to crypto, like even a volatility that we have seen over the last couple of months, and people are in the market and see a 50% drop, is hitting them quite hard. And you see the sentiment in the market, it is down, and it is education. And I think, it is not a shame if you consider if you make 100% per year. Like, I mean, it sounds ridiculous in the stock market. In crypto, it's almost like Bitcoin is a boring investment, and I think, things should get put into perspective. And if you're really serious in preserving wealth, building it out, I would just say there should be a good weighting into something that is already proven, that is working. And this is where we basically help people and hopefully get a foot in the door and get more people on board. And
amazing.
Love it.
So what's new with Decentral Capital? I know you guys just launched a new website. It looks great, by the way, decentralcapital.ca. Are you guys launching a new product, or are you sticking with the Bitcoin, Ethereum funds for the time being?
We do stick to the Bitcoin and Ethereum funds. We more or less just made it a little bit clearer how our product offers look like. And we basically have 3 baskets, and it's buy and hold. We help basically people just to get exposure, really simple. Another one is more or less a lending strategy, meaning we take the cryptocurrencies, we use those for lendings, and you get a 4% annualized yield on your crypto holdings. And the other one is basically our flagship, what is basically the trading opportunity. Like, we basically take care and try to dampen the volatility. And during those ups and downs, we accumulate more coins, throughout the years that our clients, they invest with us.
Amazing. So if somebody would like to get involved with Decentral Capital, get started, how would they do so?
I would just say, just visit our website, and we have a contact form or a sign up form. And usually we get back to you in pretty quick via email or phone, depending on how you want to get reached. And then we just can have a call and see where it fits in your portfolio. And if you have any questions about crypto, I mean, I know it is a new space, it can be looking a little bit scary, and the news are often sometimes not helping, but please give us a call, and I think we can take some of the fear away.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Eric. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, and I look forward to having you back on the show next month.
Sounds great, Mike. Talk to you soon.